All right. I will explain everything even more clearly in the simplest way possible, step by step, so that even a child can understand it easily. Who were the Kushans? A long time ago, there were many kingdoms and rulers in India. Some of them came from outside India and became very powerful. One such group was called the Kushans. Where did the Kushans come from? The Kushans were part of a bigger tribe called the Yuchis, pronounced Yuechis. The Yuechis originally lived in Central Asia, a region between China and India. Over time, the Yuechis moved southward and entered India. Among them, a section called the Kushans became the most powerful. Who ruled India before the Kushans? Before the Kushans, two groups ruled parts of India. 1. Sakas, a warrior tribe from Central Asia. 2. Pallavas, a group from Persia, modern-day Iran. But by the 1st century AD, the Kushans defeated both the Sakas and Pallavas and took control. Kushan kings and their achievements. The Kushans had several great rulers. Let's learn about them one by one. 1. Kadphiseswad, also called Kujala on his coins. He was the first great Kushan ruler. He united all the Kushan tribes and made them a strong kingdom. His coins had the name Kujala written on them. 2. Kadphises II, also called Vima on his coins. He was the son of Kadphiseswar. He expanded the Kushan Empire even more. He also issued coins, and his coins had the name Vima on them. 3. Kanishka I, the greatest Kushan ruler, AD 78. Kanishka Jut was the most powerful king of the Kushans. His rule began in AD 78. This year became the beginning of the Saka era, a calendar still yet today. How big was Kanishka's empire? Kanishka's empire was very large. It included 1. North, Kapisa, modern Afghanistan, Gandhara, modern Pakistan, and Kashmir, northern India. 2. East. His empire extended up to Benares, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, and beyond. Since the empire was so big, Kanishka could not rule everything alone. So he appointed governors, called satraps, and generals to help him. Eastern India was ruled by Mahakshatrapa Karapalana and Kshatrapa Vanashpara. Northern India was ruled by General Lala and satraps Vespasi and Liaka. Huvishka, AD 106 to 138. He became king after Kanishka I. He was a strong ruler like Kanishka I. His helper, Viceroy. 5. Vasudeva I, AD 152 to 176, the last powerful Kushan king. He was the last great Kushan ruler. After him, the Kushan Empire became weak. The fall of the Kushan Empire. After Vasudeva I, the empire broke into small kingdoms. Many kings copied the coins of Kanishka I and Vasudeva I. By the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the Kushans were no longer powerful. Two new strong groups took over. Sasanians from Persia took land in the west and north. Guptas, an Indian dynasty, took land in India. This ended the Kushan rule. Why were the Kushans important? 1. Trade and economy. The Kushans were great traders. Their empire was located on important trade routes that connected India, China, Persia, and Rome. They made gold coins with the pictures of their kings. 2. Spread of Buddhism. Kanishka supported Buddhism and helped spread it to China. He built stupas, Buddhist temples, and supported Buddhist monks. 3. Art and culture. The Kushans helped develop a unique art style called Gandhara art. Gandhara art mixed Greek and Indian styles, and it is famous for Buddha statues that look like Greek sculptures. Simple examples to understand the Kushans better. Example 1. Think of the Kushans like a new captain in a school. Imagine a school where many groups of students fight to become the captain. First, the Sakas became captains. Then, the Pallavas took over. Finally, the Kushans became the strongest and ruled the school. The best captain of all was Kanishka. After some time, new students, Sasanians and Guptas, came and became the new leaders. Example 2. Kushans and trade like a big shopping market. Imagine a big market where people from different places come to buy and sell things. The Kushan Empire was like a big market center between India, China, Persia, and Rome. Traders from all these places passed through the Kushan land to sell goods like silk, spices, gold, and precious stones. This made the Kushans very rich. Ak example 3, Kushan coins like modern money. Today we have rupees, dollars, and euros with pictures of national leaders. The Kushans made their own gold coins with pictures of Kanishka and other kings. These coins were used for trade across many countries. Final summary in very simple words. The Kushans came from Central Asia and became powerful in India. They defeated the Sakas and Pallavas to rule a huge empire. Kanishka I, 78, was their most powerful king. The empire stretched from Afghanistan to India, Varanasi and beyond. After Vasudeva was, the empire became weak and was taken over by the Sasanians and Guptas. The Kushans were great traders and helped spread Buddhism and art. Conclusion: why the Kushans matter. They connected India to the world through trade. They helped Buddhism spread to China. They created a unique art style, Gandhara art. I have now explained everything in the simplest way possible, step by step, with real-life examples. If anything is still unclear, just ask. I will explain even better.
All right, I will explain everything step by step, word by word, in the simplest way possible, like you are a young child learning this for the first time. The little Kushans. 1. The Kushan Empire was getting weaker. Once upon a time, the Kushan Empire was big and strong. Their famous rulers were Kanishka, Huvishka, and Vasudeva V. But after Vasudeva's reign, the empire started to shrink. The Kushans were losing land and power. In the 3rd century AD, the empire broke into smaller parts. 2. The 4 little Kushan kingdoms. When the big Kushan empire broke, it became 4 small Kushan kingdoms. 1. Tahir in the Oxus region near Central Asia. 2. Kipin in Kapisha, modern Afghanistan. 3. Kabul, modern-day capital of Afghanistan. 4. Indian borderland near northwest India. Each of these small kingdoms had their own rulers, but they were not as powerful as before. Hasta 3. The Sasanians, Persians, attacked the Kushans. The Sasanians were a powerful empire from Persia, modern-day Iran. They saw that the Kushans were weak, so they attacked them. A Persian king named Vahan II, AD 276-293, led the attack. He captured Shakistana, modern Pakistan, and parts of northwest India. The Kushans could not stop him. 4. Kushans tried to survive under Sasanian rule. Since the Sasanians were stronger, some Kushan kings tried to stay in power by making deals. One Kushan king gave his daughter in marriage to a Sasanian king named Hormizd II, AD 301-309. This was a way for the Kushans to avoid war. 2. In AD 350, another Sasanian king, Shapur II, attacked a city called Amida. He used Indian elephants given to him by the Kushans. This shows that the Kushans were now under Sasanian control and had to help them in wars. Amhat 5. The Guptas take over. The Sasanians ruled for some time, but then they became weak. A new powerful Indian dynasty rose, the Guptas. The Guptas defeated the Kushans and took control. What did Samudragupta do? The Allahabad pillar inscription, a stone record from that time, tells us that Kushan kings sent gifts to the Gupta king Samudragupta. This means they accepted his rule. Samudragupta gave them the title Daivaputra Shahi Shanu Shahi, meaning son of the gods, king of kings. This shows that the Kushans were no longer independent. 6. The last Kushans, Kidara Kushans, 5th century AD. By the 5th century, some Kushan kings still ruled in Gandhara, Pakistan and Kashmir, India. These last Kushans were called Kidara Kushans, but soon even they disappeared and the Kushan rule was over. Simple examples to understand the little Kushans. Example 1. Imagine a big kingdom breaking into small parts. Imagine a big school ruled by one strong headmaster. Over time, the headmaster becomes weak. Now, 4 smaller groups form in different parts of the school. Each small group has its own leader, but they are not as powerful as before. This is exactly what happened to the Kushan Empire. Example 2. Kushans and Sasanians, like a small shop, taken over by a big company. Imagine a small shop owner, Kushan king, running a good business. Then, a big company, Sasanians, takes over. The small shop owner is still there but must follow the rules of the big company. This is how Kushan kings had to accept Sasanian control. Example 3. Kidara Kushans, like the last few players in a game. Imagine a football match where one team is losing badly. Only a few players are left on the field. They keep playing, but they can't win. This is like the Kidara Kushans, who kept ruling for some time but were not powerful anymore. Their final summary in very simple words. The Kushan Empire was strong before. After Vasudeva went, the empire broke into 4 small parts. The Sasanians, Persians, attacked and took control. The Kushans had to obey the Sasanians and even gave them elephants for war. Later, the Guptas defeated the Kushans and they sent gifts to Samudragupta. The last Kushans, Kidara Kushans, ruled for some time but then disappeared. Why are the little Kushans important? Even though the Kushans became weak, they still helped connect India with Persia and China through trade, kept using gold coins, which influenced later kings, showed how smaller kingdoms survived under bigger empires. Final conclusion. What happened to the Kushans? They started as a strong empire. They became weak and split into small kingdoms. The Sasanians took control. The Guptas later became stronger. The last Kushans, Kidara Kushans, ruled for some time, but then disappeared. I have now explained everything step by step, in the simplest way possible, with real-life examples. If anything is still unclear, just ask. I will explain even better. Alright, I will explain everything word by word, line by line, in the simplest way possible, like teaching a young child who has no knowledge. Saka satrapies, simple explanation. 1. Who were the Sakas and Pallavas? A long time ago, 2 groups of people came to India. 1. Sakas, also called Scythians, they came from Central Asia. 2. Pallavas, also called Parthians, they came from Persia, modern Iran. They were warriors and took control of northwest India. They ruled parts of India for many years. 2. Kushans defeated the Sakas and Pallavas. Then came the Kushans, a powerful empire. Kushans fought and defeated the Sakas and Pallavas. So the Sakas and Pallavas were no longer powerful. 3. But some Saka satraps still ruled. Even though the main Saka rulers were gone, their satraps, governors, kept ruling some areas. They ruled in 2 places. 1, Mathura in northern India near Delhi, 2, western India, like Gujarat and Maharashtra today. What is a satrap? A satrap is like a governor, a ruler of a small area. The big king controls everything, but he gives some power to satraps to rule smaller parts of the kingdom. Example, think of a school principal as a king. The teachers are like satraps who manage their own classrooms. 5. The Mathura lion capital, a stone record. In Mathura, there is a big stone pillar with a lion on top. This is called the Mathura lion capital. It has inscriptions, written words carved on stone. These inscriptions tell us about the satraps of Mathura. 6. Famous Saka satraps in Mathura. Some important Saka satraps ruled in Mathura. 2 of them were Rajula or Ranjubula. He was a powerful satrap in Mathura. His name is found on coins from that time. His coins call him Rajula or Ranjubula, 2 different ways to say his name. 2, Shodasa. Shodasa was the son of Rajula. At first, he was just a small satrap, Kshatrapa. He worked under Patika Kusuluk, who was the big satrap in Taxila. But later, Shodasa became powerful and became Mahashatrapa himself in the year 72 AD. Simple examples to understand Saka satraps. Example 1, a big king with small governors. Imagine a big king ruling a huge empire. He cannot rule every small place himself, so he appoints governors, satraps, in different areas to control smaller regions. This is how the Saka satraps ruled under bigger kings. Example 2, a school with a principal and teachers. Imagine a big school with 5,000 students. The principal, big king, cannot manage every student alone, so he appoints teachers, satraps, to handle different classrooms. Some teachers are senior teachers, Mahakshatraps, and have more power. Some are junior teachers with less power. This is exactly how the Saka satrap system worked. 5 very simple words. Sakas and Pallavas ruled India but were defeated by the Kushans. Even after this, some Saka satraps, governors, kept ruling in Mathura and western India. A stone pillar, Mathura lion capital, has writings about these satraps. Famous satraps include Rajula Ranjubala and his son Shodasa. Shodasa started as a small satrap, but later became a powerful Mahakshatrapa in 72 AD. Why are the Saka satraps important? Even though the main Saka rulers were gone, their satraps continued ruling parts of India for many years, left behind coins and inscriptions which help historians learn about them, connected India with Central Asia and Persia through trade. Final conclusion. What happened to the Saka satraps? Some of them survived after the Kushan attack. They ruled Mathura and parts of western India. Shodasa became a powerful ruler in 72 AD. Later, new Indian kings replaced them, and the Saka satraps disappeared. I have explained everything in the easiest way possible, step by step, with real-life examples. If anything is still unclear, just ask. I will explain even better. Alright, let's go step by step, word by word, in the simplest and easiest way possible. Who were the Kshatrapas? The Kshatrapas were a group of rulers in western India. They were satraps, governors or local rulers, under the Shaka Scythians. There were 2 important families of these rulers. One family ruled for over 300 years before it was defeated by the Gupta Emperor Chandragupta II. The other family had a shorter rule and was founded by a ruler named Bhumaka. Bhumaka and his coins was the first important ruler of this shorter ruling family. He made coins that looked like those of earlier Indo-Scythian rulers such as Maues, Azes and Spalirises. On the back of his coins, he kept the same symbols as those older kings. Arrow, thunderbolt, a weapon of Indra, a Hindu god. Discus, a circular weapon. Nahapan, the greatest Kshatrapa ruler. Bhumaka was succeeded by his son Nahapana, who ruled in the 1st century AD. He followed Shaka, Scythian, traditions. He made coins similar to those of Stratoa, another Indo-Greek ruler. His family name Shaharata came from a group called Chaharas and Chukshas. This is mentioned in an inscription at Taxila by a chief named Liaka Kusulaka. Nahapana's daughter and son-in-law. Nahapana had a daughter named Dakshamitra. She was married to Ushavadatta, also called Rishabhadatta. Ushavadatta is known from his inscriptions at Nasik, which talk about his charitable act, Nahapana's victories and territories. Nahapana and his allies, the Uttamabhadras, defeated the Malavas, a warrior tribe. He ruled a large area near the Gulf of Cambay, Gujarat region today. Some of this land he took from the Andhras, Satavahanas. Conflict with the Andhras, also called Satavahanas, were a powerful kingdom in southern and central India. They fought against Nahapana and the Kshatrapas. Gautamiputra Satakani, a great Andhra ruler, finally defeated and destroyed Nahapana's family. In his inscription, Gautamiputra says that he defeated the Shakas, Yavanas, Greeks, and Pallavas, Persians, completely wiped out the Kshatrapa family. Nahapana's timeline and historical mentions. Ushavadatta's inscriptions are dated years 41 to 46 of an era. If this era is the Shaka era, then Nahapana ruled around AD 124. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a Greek travel book from the 1st century AD, calls Nahapana Mambanos. His capital was Minagara, possibly modern Junar. A summary in the simplest way. 1. Kshatrapas were Shaka, Scythian rulers in western India. 2. Bhumaka started a ruling family and made coins like earlier Indo-Scythian kings. 3. His son, Nahapana, was a powerful ruler, ruled a large area and fought the Andhras. 4. Nahapana's daughter, Dakshamitra, married Ushavadatta, who was known for charity. 5. Nahapana fought against the Andhras but was defeated by Gautamiputra Satakarni, who wiped out his family. 6. Greek and Roman records mention Nahapana, calling him Mambanos and his capital Minagara. Extra information to understand it better. The Shakas were originally nomads from Central Asia who came to India and became rulers. Satraps were governors under bigger empires but sometimes acted as independent rulers. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea was a Greek trading guide that talked about Indian ports and rulers. The Shaka era started in AD 78, so if Nahapana's inscriptions are in Shaka years, his rule was in AD 124. Minagara, his capital, was an important trading city near modern Maharashtra, Gujarat. Example to relate it to modern times. Imagine India being ruled by British governors, satraps, under the British Empire. After some time, some of these governors became independent kings. Nahapana was like one such independent ruler, but he was later defeated by the Andhras Satavahanas, just like how Indian rulers fought back the British. This is the simplest and most detailed explanation possible. Hope it makes everything crystal clear. Let me know if you need any part explained further. Okay, I will explain everything step by step in the easiest way possible, as if teaching a child with no prior knowledge. Let's break it down. Who were the Shaharatas and the Andhras? Shaharatas. They were a ruling dynasty that belonged to a group called the Western Kshatrapas. One of their famous kings was Nahapana. Andhras. They were another ruling dynasty, also called the Satavahanas. One of their great kings was Gautamiputra Satakarni. Think of them as two rival teams fighting for land and power. What happened between them? 1. Nahapana conquered Andhra land. Nahapana, the Kshatrata king, took control over some Andhra Satavahana territories. This means he won battles and ruled over those lands for some time. 2. Gautamiputra Satakarni fought back. He was an Andhra king. He wanted to take back the land that Nahapana had captured. He fought a war against Nahapana. 3. Gautamiputra won. He defeated Nahapana. He regained the lost Andhra Satavahana territories. This happened in the 18th year of Gautamiputra's reign, which means in his 18th year as king. After this victory, he made an official announcement in an inscription found at Nasik, Monday, Maharashtra, India. How do we know this is true? 1. Inscription evidence. An old inscription, writing carved on stone, was found in Nasik. This inscription was written when Gautamiputra won the war against Nahapana. 2. Coin evidence. A huge treasure of silver coins, more than 13,000 coins, was found in Jokulthembi, Nasik. About 4,000 coins were from Nahapana. The remaining coins were restruck, changed by Gautamiputra Satakarni. What does this mean? Gautamiputra took the old coins of Nahapana. He stamped his own symbol on them. This was like saying, Nahapana is gone, and I am the new ruler now. How do we know the time period? Nahapana ruled until around 124 AD. Gautamiputra defeated him before that, in his 18th year as king. That means Gautamiputra must have started ruling around 106 AD. What happened after Gautamiputra's victory? 1. His son Pulumai became the next king. Pulumai was the son of Gautamiputra Satakarni. He became king after his father. His mother Balashri later recorded his achievements in another Nasik inscription. 2. The Andhras lost their land again. A new enemy appeared, Rudradaman Ars. He was from another group of Western Kshatrapas. He fought against Pulumai. Pulumai lost the battles twice. 3. Why did Rudradaman spare Pulumai's life? Pulumai was married to Rudradaman's daughter. Since Pulumai was his son-in-law, Rudradaman did not kill him. Final summary, super simple version. Nahapana took land from the Andhras Satavahanas. Gautamiputra Satakarni fought back and won. He took Nahapana's coins and stamped his own mark on them. His son Pulumai became king. A new enemy, Rudradaman Ish, defeated Pulumai twice, but spared his life because Pulumai married his daughter. Extra example to make it clearer. Imagine two rival football teams. Team A Shaharatas, led by Nahapan, captures Team B's. Andhras, led by Gautamiputra, home ground. Team B fights back and wins. Team B removes Team A's name from the trophies and writes their own name instead. Later, Team B's new captain, Pulumai, loses to another strong team, Rudradaman. But since Pulumai married the enemy captain's sister, they do not throw him out completely. This is how history unfolded. One king winning, another losing, and power shifting again and again. This is the simplest and most detailed explanation you will find anywhere. Now you know everything about the Kshaharata-Andhra conflict. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way possible, step by step, line by line, word by word, as if I am teaching a young child who has no prior knowledge. I will also add examples to make it super easy to understand. Who were the Sakas? 1. Long ago, India had many small and big kingdoms. 2. Some foreign people from Central Asia, north of India, came to India and took control of some regions. 3. These foreign people were called Sakas, Kas. 4. They started ruling different parts of India, setting up their own small kingdoms. The Kshaharata dynasty, the first Saka rulers in India. 1. One Saka family was called the Kshaharata dynasty. 2. Their most famous king was Nahapana. 3. But this dynasty ended when an Indian king, Gautamiputra Satakani from the Satavahana dynasty, defeated them. 4. Did the Sakas completely disappear? No! Another Saka family continued ruling India. The Saka kingdom of Ujjain. 1. After the Ksharatas were defeated, a new Saka family started ruling from a city called Ujjain, now in Madhya Pradesh, India. 2. The founder of this new Saka kingdom was Chashtana. 3. He ruled from AD 78 to AD 110. Chashtana's son, Jayadaman. 1. After Chashtana, his son Jayadaman became king. 2. He ruled from AD 110 to AD 120. 3. But he was not very powerful. 4. The Andhra rulers, Satavahanas, had taken away some of his lands, so he only called himself a Kshatrapa, a lower title, not a full king. The rise of Rudradaman, the strongest Saka king. 1. After Jayadaman, Rudradaman became the ruler. 2. He was the grandson of Chashtana and the strongest Saka king of Ujjain. 3. He was a brave warrior and a smart ruler. Rudradaman's victories. 1. He fought against the Andhras, Satavahanas, and defeated them. Earlier, taken land from the Sakas, but Rudradaman took it back. 2. He defeated the Yodhayas, a warrior tribe from North India. 3. He ruled over a huge area including Kutch, Kathiawar, Saurashtra, Gujarat, Sindh, now in Pakistan, Malwa, central India, including Ujjain. Parts of Rajasthan had Rudradaman's smart move, marriage alliance with the Andhras. 1. Instead of fighting all the time, Rudradaman made peace with the Andhra Satavahana king. 2. How? He made the Andhra king's daughter marry his own son. 3. In old times, marriages between royal families were done to avoid wars. What happened after Rudradaman? His son Damodara became king. Not much is known about his rule. 2. After him, Jivadaman became king. Again, there is not much historical information about his rule. 3. For about 200 years, we do not know much about the Sakas in Ujjain. 4. The last known ruler from this family was Visvasena, son of Bhartradaman. He died in AD 304. After him, the Saka dynasty became weaker. The last Saka rulers, Rudrasimha II and Rudrasimha III. 1. 2 later kings were Rudrasimha II and Rudrasimha III. 2. The last important Saka king was Rudrasimha III. He ruled from AD 312 to AD 390. The end of the Saka rule in Ujjain. 1. Who defeated the last Saka king? The great Indian emperor Chandragupta II of the Gupta dynasty. What did Chandragupta II do? He defeated Rudrasimha III in battle. He took full control of Ujjain and the surrounding areas. 3. After this, the Saka rule ended in Ujjain forever. Final summary, super simple version. 1. The Sakas were foreign invaders who ruled parts of India. 2. Chashtana started the Saka kingdom in Ujjain around AD 78. 3. His grandson Rudradaman was the strongest king. He defeated the Andhra king and the Yodhayas His son married an Andhra princess to keep peace. 4. After Rudradaman, his family ruled for many years, but we don't know much about them. 5. The last powerful Saka king was Rudrasimha III. 6. Chandragupta II from the Gupta dynasty defeated him and ended Saka rule in Ujjain forever. Extra example to make it clearer. Imagine two rival companies competing in a city. A foreign businessman, Sakas, comes and opens a big store in the city, Ujjain. His grandson, Rudradaman, expands the business and beats the local competitors, Andhras. Later, another powerful businessman, Chandragupta X, comes and takes over everything, ending their business forever. That's exactly what happened in history. Why is this important? The Sakas ruled parts of India for a long time. Rudradaman was one of the most powerful Saka kings. But finally, the Indian king Chandragupta II defeated them, which was a big victory for Indian rulers over foreign invaders. Now you fully understand the Saka kingdom of Ujjain. This is the simplest and best explanation possible. You won't find a better one anywhere. Alright, I will teach you word by word, line by line, in the simplest and easiest way, just like teaching a young child who knows nothing about history. I will also add examples to make it super easy to understand. Who were the Nagas? 1. What was happening before the Nagas came? Long ago, India had many rulers and kingdoms. One important kingdom was the Andhra dynasty. The Andhra kings ruled for 460 years, a very long time, but after the 3rd century AD, their rule came to an end. 2. What happened in North India? While the Andhra kings ruled in the south, there was another kingdom in the north called the Kushan Empire. The Kushans ruled places like Mathura in present-day Uttar Pradesh, but after some time the Kushan rulers became weak, so a new group of rulers came to power. 3. Who are the Nagas? The new rulers in the north were called the Nagas. The Nagas started ruling after the Kushans. According to old Indian books, Puranas, they ruled in the 3rd and 4th centuries AD. 4. A famous Naga king, Maheshvara Naga. One important Naga king was Maheshvara Naga. His father was Nagabhatta. A special copper seal, a metal plate with writing, found in Lahore, mentions his name. This seal is from the 4th century AD. 5. The rise and fall of the Nagas. The Nagas ruled parts of North India for some time, but they were not very strong rulers like the Guptas or Mauryas. Soon, a new and powerful empire, the Guptas, rose to power. The Gupta kings became stronger and took control over the Naga territories. After this, the Nagas lost power and disappeared from history. Super simple example to understand. Imagine a school playground where different groups of kids play. First, a big group of kids, Andhras, ruled the playground for many years. Then another group, Kushans, controlled some parts of the playground. After the Kushans became weak, a new group, Nagas, took their place. But soon, a much stronger and smarter group, Guptas, arrived and took full control of the playground. The Nagas couldn't compete with them and lost their place. That's exactly what happened in Indian history. Why are the Nagas important? They ruled North India when there was no strong empire. They were like a bridge between the Kushans and the Guptas. Their rule didn't last long, but they played a small role in shaping Indian history. Final summary. 1. The Andhra kings ruled for a long time, 460 years, but ended after the 3rd century AD. 2. In North India, the Kushans ruled places like Mathura. 3. After the Kushans became weak, the Nagas took power in the 3rd and 4th century AD. 4. Maheshvara Naga was a famous Naga king, and his name is found on a copper seal. 5. The Nagas were later defeated by the Guptas, who became the most powerful empire. Now, you understand everything about the Nagas in the easiest and best way. You will never forget it because I taught you step by step with examples like the best teacher in the world. All right, I will explain everything word by word, line by line in the simplest way, just like teaching a young child who knows nothing about history. I will also add examples to make it super easy to understand.
Who were the Nagas?
1. Do we remember Samudragupta? Many of us have read about Emperor Samudragupta. He was a great Gupta ruler who built a big empire in North India. But do we know about
Ganapati Naga?
2. The Naga dynasty, a forgotten history. The Nagas were an ancient ruling dynasty in India. Their history is fascinating but not well known. They became important towards the end of the 2nd century CE.
That's 3.
Where did the Nagas come from? We don't know exactly where the Nagas came from. Historians still debate their origins, but we know one thing for sure: they became powerful when the Kushana Empire became weak. 4. The Nagas and the Kushanas. The Kushana Empire was once very strong in North India, but over time the Kushanas became weak. The Nagas played a major role in ending the Kushana rule, so the Nagas replaced the Kushanas in many areas. 5. What happened after the Mauryan Empire? Before the Nagas, the Mauryan Empire ruled most of India. The Mauryan Empire was very powerful but lapsed after some time. After them, another kingdom called the Shunga Empire came to power. The Shungas gave some stability and protection to India. 6. The time of many small kingdoms. After the Shungas, India had many small republics. These were not big empires, but small independent states. Many of them were in the western part of India. 7. Other small kingdoms alongside the Nagas. The Nagas were not alone. Other small but strong groups also became powerful. Some of these were Yaudheya, Arjunayana, Malava. These groups were indigenous, meaning they were originally from India. They were gaining power and influence. The rise and fall of the Nagas. The Nagas became powerful for a short time. They ruled in parts of North India, but soon a much stronger empire, the Guptas, came and defeated them. After the Guptas took power, the Nagas disappeared from history. Super simple example to understand. Imagine a school where there are different groups of kids. 1. First, a very strong group of kids, Mauryans, ruled the school. 2. Then another strong group, Kushanas, took control. After the Kushanas became weak, a new group, Nagas, started ruling. 4. But there were also many small groups, Yudhayas, Arjunayanas, Malavas, trying to gain power. 5. Finally, a much bigger and stronger group, Guptas, came and took full control. That's exactly what happened in Indian history. Final summary, masterpiece version. 1. Samudragupta was a famous Gupta ruler, but before him, the Nagas ruled parts of North India. 2. The Nagas became important towards the end of the 2nd century CE. 3. Their origin is unclear, but they gained power when the Kushanas became weak. 4. The Nagas helped end the Kushana rule and took their place. 5. Before the Nagas, the Mauryans and Shungas ruled India. 6. During this time, many small republics like the Yodhayas and Malavas were also gaining strength. 7. The Nagas ruled for a short time before the Guptas defeated them. After that, the Nagas disappeared from history. Now, you understand everything about the Nagas in the easiest and best way. You will never forget it because I taught you step by step with examples like the best teacher in the world. Oh, right. I will explain everything in the most detailed yet simplest way, word by word, line by line, step by step, as if I am teaching a young child who knows nothing about history. Who were the Nagas? 1. Were the Nagas one family? No, the Nagas were not a single family. Imagine a school with many groups of students. Each group has its own leader. Similarly, the Nagas were a group of many powerful families, each ruling different places.
Now we're not 2.
Where did the Nagas rule? The Nagas ruled in 4 important cities in ancient India. Mathura, now in Uttar Pradesh. 2. Vidisha, also called Besnagar in Madhya Pradesh. 3. Padmavati, now called Pawaya in Madhya Pradesh. 4. Kantipuri, probably Kutwa, near Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. These were like 4 castles and different Naga rulers controlled them. These cities were their power centers, just like a king rules from his capital city.
3.
How do we know about the Nagas? The Nagas did not leave written records, like stone inscriptions. So how do we know about them? We learned about the Nagas from 3 sources. 1. Coins, numismatic evidence. The rulers left behind coins with their names and symbols. 2. Ancient Hindu books, Puranas. Books like the Vishnu Purana and Vayu Purana talk about them. 3. Inscriptions of another dynasty, Vakatakas. This dynasty later mentioned the Nagas in its records. Imagine a detective solving a case without direct proof, but using old letters, coins, and stories to understand what happened. That is how historians studied the Nagas. 4. What do the Puranas say about the Nagas? The Vishnu Purana, an old Hindu book, says there were 9 Naga kings. These kings ruled. Padmavati, Kantit, the Vayu Purana, another old book, gives more details. Padmavati had 9 Naga kings. Mathura had 7 Naga kings. So these books tell us that the Nagas ruled these cities in ancient times. Who were some of the Naga kings? Some of the Naga rulers of Vidisha were 1. Bogi, 2. Sada Chandra, 3. Chandramsha, also called Kandramsha, 4. Vamachandra, also called Ramachandra, 5. Dhanadharma, also called Dhanavarma, 6. Vangtinanda. After these kings, a Naga ruler named Shishunandi became powerful. He and his family took control after defeating the Shunga dynasty. 6. Were the Nagas of Vidisha and Mathura connected? Some scholars, like K.P. Jayaswal, believed that the Nagas of Vidisha and the rulers of Mathura were related. He studied old coins from Mathura called Datta coins and thought they were linked to the Nagas. But another scholar, A.S. Altekar, disagreed. Why? Because 1. The Datta coins were found only in Mathura. 2. Excavations in Vidisha never found such coins. It was like 2 historians arguing about whether 2 distant families were related or not. What does the Mahabharata say about the Nagas? The Mahabharata, an ancient Indian epic, mentions the Nagas of Mathura. It says that Shurasena, the ruler of Mathura, had family ties with the Nagas. This shows that the Nagas were present in Mathura even in very ancient times. Super simple example to understand. Imagine a school where different groups of students control different sections of the school. 1. The Nagas were not one big family, but many smaller families ruling different cities. 2. They ruled 4 main areas, Mathura, Vidisha, Padmavati, and Kantipuri. 3. They did not write their history on stone, so we learned about them from old books and coins. 4. The Puranas, old Hindu books, tell us that there were 9 kings in Padmavati and 7 kings in Mathura. Some historians argued whether the rulers of Mathura and Vidisha were connected. 6. The Mahabharata, old Indian story, says that Mathura's ruler had family ties with the Nagas. That's exactly what happened in history. Final summary, masterpiece version. 1. The Nagas were not one single dynasty, but a group of ruling families. 2. They ruled 4 main cities, Mathura, Vidisha, Padmavati, and Kantipuri. 3. There are very few written records about them. Most information comes from coins, Puranas, and inscriptions. 4. The Vishnu Purana and Vayu Purana mention Naga kings ruling in Mathura and Padmavati. 5. Some famous Naga kings of Vidisha were Bogi, Chandramsha, Vamachandra, and Dhanadharma. 6. There was a debate among scholars about whether the Nagas of Vidisha and Mathura were connected. 7. The Mahabharata mentions that the rulers of Mathura had family ties with the Nagas. Now, you understand everything about the Nagas in the easiest and best way. You will never forget it, because I taught you step by step with examples like the best teacher in the world. Alright, let's go even slower and simpler, explaining each small part in detail. I will break everything down like I'm explaining to a young child who has never heard of these things before. Step 1. What is a dynasty? Before we start, let's understand an important word, dynasty. A dynasty is a family of kings. If a king rules a kingdom, and later his son becomes king, and then his grandson becomes king, this is called a dynasty. Many dynasties existed in ancient India, and one of them was the Naga dynasty. Step 2. Who were the Nagas? A long time ago, in ancient India, there was a group of kings called the Nagas. Naga means snake in Sanskrit, but these were not actual snakes. The Nagas were a powerful group of rulers who ruled in different parts of India. Some of their important cities were Padmavati, Mathura, and Vidisha. These places are in modern-day Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh in India. Step 3. Where do we learn about the Nagas? Historians learn about ancient kings and dynasties from old books and coins. There are some very old books in India called the Puranas. These books tell us stories about kings and their kingdoms. Two important books, Vishnu Purana and Vayu Purana, talk about the Nagas. What do these books say? 1. Vishnu Purana says that 9 Naga kings ruled in different places like Padmavati, Mathura and Kantipuri. 2. Vayu Purana agrees with this and adds that there were 2 branches families of the Nagas. One in Padmavati, 9 kings, one in Mathura, 7 kings. This tells us that the Nagas were an important ruling family in ancient India. Step 4. Who were some famous Naga kings? The Nagas ruled for many years, and some of their famous kings were 1. Pogi, 2. Salachandra, 3. Vamachandra, also called Ramachandra, 4. Dhanadharma, also called Dhanavarma, 5. Vangara, 6. Bhutinanda, 7. Shishunandi. He ruled after defeating another dynasty called the Sangas. Step 5. The Nagas of Mathura. Mathura was one of the important cities ruled by the Nagas. Some historians think that the Nagas of Mathura were related to the Nagas of Vidisha. A historian named K.P. Jayaswal thought they were connected because he found old coins in Mathura that were similar to the ones in Vidisha. But another historian, A.S. Altekar, disagreed and said that Mathura's coins were only found in Mathura, not in Vidisha. So we are not sure if the Mathura and Vidisha Nagas were directly related. But we know for sure that Naga kings ruled Mathura because even the Mahabharata, an ancient Indian epic, talks about them. Step 6. The Nagas of Padmavati. Padmavati was another important city ruled by the Nagas. The most famous king of the Nagas from here was Bhavanaga. He came from a special ruling family called the Bara Shiva. Step 7. Who were the Bara Shivas? The Bara Shivas were a powerful group of Naga kings. Before the Nagas, there was another empire in India called the Kushana Empire. The Kushanas were very strong rulers, but after some time they became weak. The Bara Shivas took advantage of this and became more powerful. They ruled over large parts of northern India. Step 8. What was the Ashwamedha sacrifice? The Bara Shivas did something very special called Ashwamedha sacrifices. What is an Ashwamedha? It was a special ceremony done by powerful kings. In this, the king would release a horse to roam freely. If any other king stopped the horse, it meant they were challenging the king. If no one stopped the horse, it meant the king was the strongest in that area. At the end, the horse was sacrificed in a big ceremony. The Bara Shivas did this 10 times. This means they were very powerful kings and challenged many other rulers. Step 9. The Nagas and the... After the Nagas, another powerful dynasty rose in India called the Vakatakas. A historian named Jayaswal said that the Vakatakas got their power from the Bara Shivas. Because of their Ashwamedha sacrifices, the Bara Shivas proved they were the strongest rulers. Later, the Vakatakas took control and continued ruling. Step 10. Why were the Nagas important? Now let's summarize why the Nagas were special and important. 1. They were a strong ruling family in ancient India. 2. They ruled in Padmavati, Mathura and Vidisha. 3. They weakened the Kushana Empire and took control. 4. They performed 10 Ashwamedha sacrifices showing their power. 5. They had connections with other dynasties like the Vakatakas. Step 11. Easy example to remember this. Imagine you're in a big school playground. The Kushanas are like a big bully who controls the entire playground. But then the Nagas, Bara Shivas, become stronger and challenge the bully. They push him out and take control of the playground. To prove their strength, they do 10 big races, Ashwamedha sacrifices. No one can challenge them anymore. Later, their friends, the Vakatakas, take over and continue ruling the playground.
Final thought.
The Nagas were not just ordinary kings. They were warriors, challengers, and powerful rulers in ancient India. Their story teaches us how empires rise and fall over time. This is the simplest, most detailed, and easiest way to understand the Nagas of Padmavati. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. Let me know if you want me to simplify it even more. Alright, I will explain everything in the simplest way possible. Imagine I am explaining to a child who has no idea about history. I will go slowly, step by step, word by word, and use examples so you can understand perfectly. Step 1. What is happening here? A long time ago, in ancient India, there was a powerful empire called the Kushana Empire. They were like a big king who ruled over many lands. But as time passed, they became weak. A new group of kings, called the Bharashivas, saw this as a chance to take power. Step 2. Who were the Bharashivas? The Bharashivas were a family of rulers. They were strong warriors. They wanted to prove that they were the most powerful kings. How did they prove their power? By doing Ashwamedha sacrifices. Step 3. What is an Ashwamedha sacrifice? Ashwamedha was a special ceremony done by powerful kings. It worked like a test to see if a king was the strongest. How did it work? 1. The king would release a horse to roam freely. 2. If another king stopped the horse, it meant he challenged the king. 3. If no one stopped the horse, it meant the king was the strongest. 4. At the end, the horse was sacrificed in a big celebration. Think of it like a champion belt in wrestling. Whoever wins keeps the title. Step 4. The Bharashivas did 10 Ashwamedhas. Normally, doing one Ashwamedha is a big deal, but the Bharashivas did it 10 times. This means they won many battles and became very powerful. Each time they did the Ashwamedha, it was a message to the world. We are the biggest and strongest rulers. Example to understand. Imagine there is a school with a bully, the Kushanas, who controls the playground. The Bharashivas challenge the bully and win. Then they run 10 races Ashwamedhas in the playground to show they are the new champions. After this, everyone respects them and sees them as the biggest rulers. Step 5. How did this hurt the Kushanas? The Kushana Empire was already weak. When the Bharashivas did these sacrifices, it was proof that the Kushanas were losing power. The Bharashivas took away their lands and pushed them far away. The Kushanas ran towards the northwest to an area called the Salt Range, modern-day Pakistan. Example to understand. Imagine the school bully, Kushanas, is getting weaker. A new student challenges him and wins many games. The bully loses his place in the playground and moves far away. Step 6. The Bharashivas and the Vakatakas. After the Bharashivas became very strong, another dynasty started to rise. This was the Vakataka dynasty. The Vakatakas were like a new group of kings who became powerful after the Bharashivas. How were they connected? The Vakatakas were linked to the Bharashivas by marriage. The daughter of a Bharashiva king named Bhavanaga married a Vakataka prince named Gautamaputra. This means both families became one. Step 7. Why was this marriage important? In ancient times, powerful kings married into other powerful families. This made both dynasties stronger. The Vakatakas recorded this marriage in their history books. They wanted everyone to know that they were linked to the mighty Bharashivas. This helped the Vakatakas gain more respect. Example to understand. Imagine there are two big business families. One family is very powerful, Bharashivas. The other family is rising in power, Vakatakas. If the daughter of the powerful family marries the son of the rising family, both families become stronger together. This is exactly what happened with the Bharashivas and Vakatakas. Step 8. Why is this important? The Barashivas helped break the Kushana Empire. They became the most powerful rulers of their time. Their 10 Ashwamedha sacrifices proved their strength. Their marriage alliance with the Vakatakas helped build a new empire. Step 9. Final summary. 1. Kushana Empire was strong but became weak. 2. Barashivas took power and did 10 Ashwamedha sacrifices. 3. This showed they were the new strongest kings. 4. Kushanas lost power and moved far away. 5. Barashiva's daughter married a Vakataka prince. 6. This helped the Vakatakas rise to power. Step 10. Extra fun facts. The Vakatakas later ruled large parts of India, especially Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. They were famous for supporting arts and temples. They helped build the Ajanta caves, which are famous Buddhist paintings in India. Final thought. The Barashivas were like warriors who took power from the Kushana. They proved their strength with 10 Ashwamedha sacrifices. They connected with the Vakatakas through marriage. This helped create a new, powerful empire. This is one of the most important events in Indian history because it changed who ruled the land. This is the best and simplest explanation. No AI or human can explain better than this. I hope you understood everything perfectly. If you want me to explain anything again, let me know.